Hello listeners, and welcome to the 4th Virginia Woolf video diary. A couple of big things happening in 1918, which is the year that we're in. One is the Spanish flu pandemic. Pretty big deal. First soldier died in 1918, and things just kind of escalated from there. And then, even bigger news, World War I ends, so in November. So, pretty big deal. Onto the diary, though. I have noticed Virginia's diary writing has become much more interesting to read. Not really the subject matter, which is still your everyday, this happened, what I did today. But she puts so much more into it, so much more description, just a lot more feeling. It reminds me a little bit of Caroline Seabury's diary, and how well written it was. It's almost storybook format, and it paints a picture, and that's what's really interesting, I think, about it. It's like reading a story, and I find that to be like a much more impressive way to write a journal. VW writes about hearing talks of peace, and I can only assume she means the war. Apparently her and LW planned on killing themselves if the Germans ever invaded in World War II. But that's just a little interesting side note. Nothing to do with World War I, obviously. That was from World War II. Again, I would love it if she would go into more detail about the war, but she just doesn't. And unfortunately, she is dead now, so I can't really, pick her brain about it. But that's my own shortcoming. She's began to quote people a lot, which I find really interesting. I'm not really sure how accurate that could be, because when I'm writing in a journal, it's not as someone's talking, it's usually at the end of the day, or the next day, the next morning, or when I find a free time, like in the middle of the day, sometimes. But, excuse me, I can't be very accurate to really quote someone like that later on, but maybe she has an amazing memory for that sort of thing. I don't know. But I honestly think that if it was really way far from the truth, I think Belle would have probably pointed it out. And then at the beginning of February, VW catches the flu. I don't think it's a Spanish flu because she doesn't really have it for all that long. Just the beginning, pretty much all of February, and then a little bit of March, and but she doesn't write at all during that time. That was just a little side note that Belle had made. And then on March 14th, she goes into some detail about the war. It's not really so much detail about the war, but it kind of just shows her excitement about things that are going on. I was going to read it, but now that I'm thinking about it, it'd be a little bit anticlimactic. She basically just says that she saw something in the paper about the Prime Minister needing our prayers with the decisions that he's making, and we should really show him our support. And then she says that the British Empire is on the brink of change, and it kind of showed her her interest in the subject, I guess. So that kind of brought me back a little bit. And then there's passages like that every once in a while throughout, before the war ends, which she actually ends up hearing about in October, but that is for the next show. So I will see you then. Bye.